Justin wasn't interested in the movie. His expression grew dark when he saw what Nora had done. Instead of feeding her own daughter, she was feeding his son. She had denied she was trying to get close to Justin through his son over and over, yet he kept catching her in these little acts of kindness. He didn't even know how else to interpret her actions. It looked too much like a scheme. Nora could sense someone staring at her. She slowly opened her eyes and looked over. Her gaze was met with Justin's deep and dark eyes. She was surprised at his sharp expression. She thought, "Am I dreaming?" She couldn't believe she was seeing Justin in the movie theater. Her sleepiness disappeared instantly. Nora turned to acknowledge him and said, "What a coincidence, Mr. Hunt." "A coincidence?" Justin thought furiously. His expression was grim. "A coincidence, of course. We just happened to be watching the same movie in the same movie theater, and we just happened to have seats next to each other." Nora was puzzled by why he sounded so sarcastic. She frowned. "What do you mean by that, Mr. Hunt?" He replied coldly, "I told you, I hate it when people try to use my son to get close to me. Did you forget what I said, Miss Smith?" Nora was astonished. He kept misunderstanding her over and over again. She slowly turned her gaze away. She said, "You are an attractive man, Mr. Hunt, but you are also very arrogant. I'm not trying to get close to you. You aren't my type." He sneered. "You're so obvious, Miss Smith. Don't play innocent with me. Let me make myself clear. I am not interested in you. If you have the time to follow me around, why don't you spend it with your aunt instead?" His words angered Nora. The situation with her aunt was none of his business. She said coldly, "Don't worry. You don't need to bother yourself with my aunt." Justin became even angrier when he heard the way she glossed over the topic. Justin bent over and picked Cherry up. He said angrily, "This is the last time I'm warning you, Miss Smith. If you come near my son again, there will be consequences." And with that, he strode away. It was obvious to him that the first date had been a complete disaster. When they got back to the hotel, it was already 4 in the afternoon. Nora went to sleep again. The next day's operation would last 7 or 8 hours. If she didn't get enough sleep, she wouldn't have enough strength and energy to see it through. Pete, who sat next to her, anxiously sent a text message to Cherry. "How's it going over there, Cherry?" Meanwhile, Cherry was facing off with Justin in the Hunt suite. Justin announced, "You're forbidden from making contact with that woman in the future." Cherry's large eyes went wide with alarm as she asked, "Why?" Justin didn't answer right away. He didn't want to set a bad example by speaking rudely about other people in front of his son. However, Lawrence, who was next to him, answered, "She's not a good person, Pete. She's just sitting on the sidelines and watching her aunt suffer. She's not even trying to help. She's going out and watching movies. She's cold." Panicking, Cherry cried angrily, "Mummy isn't cold. Mummy works hard to take care of people. She'll definitely save my great auntie." Justin's expression darkened. He had been disturbed to hear Nora encouraging his son to call her Mummy. Had she been talking to him about her other family members too? Cherry had tears in her eyes. "You're a bad daddy. You can't say that about her. I'm ignoring you." She ran straight into the bedroom. Justin clenched his fists angrily. He had been getting along well with his son earlier today, and now he had made him cry. But it wasn't his fault. It was all because of that woman. Suddenly, Lawrence jumped up and said, "Mr. Hunt, great news. Athena is coming to the hospital in town for an operation. Observers are allowed to come in during the procedure. I've asked for a spot, and I can send someone there to stand guard. We'll get her this time for sure." Justin, lost in thought, stared at the bedroom where his son had disappeared. At last, he said, "I'll go in person. I'll catch her myself." When she arrived at the hospital the next day, Nora didn't go straight to the operating room. Instead, she went to the ward to visit her aunt first, intending to comfort her. As soon as she entered, Lisa came over to her looking worried. "Nora, I got your message. Is it true? Mum will have her surgery today." Nora nodded. "Yeah." Next to them, Angela sneered. "You're such an idiot, Nora. Aunt Irene's tumour is in a very tricky area. It's impossible for any ordinary surgeon to operate on her." Nora looked at her. I know that. Then why are you pushing for this surgery to go ahead? You're not taking this seriously. Angela looked at Will and Lisa and said, I showed Dr. Larson Aunt Irene's CT scan a long time ago, and even he didn't want to try it. Do you really think she's found someone better than Dr. Larson? When Will heard this, he hesitated. He said, Nora, be honest. What is the success rate for this procedure? Before Nora could reply, Angela scoffed and said, I told you it's nearly impossible. There are only 2 doctors in the States that even have half a chance of doing this right. Irene can still live for another 2 months without the operation, but if you go through with it, there's a 90% chance that she won't make it. Her words made Lisa go pale from fright. Isn't there a better doctor? Oh, there is, Angela said. There's Dr. Athena, the top surgeon in the world. There's no surgery she can't do. But she's too far away and she's picky. Even rich, powerful people have a hard time tracking her down. She won't bother with ordinary people like you. Angela radiated smugness, while Will and Lisa were utterly deflated. But then, all 3 heard Nora's low voice as she said, Angela, don't be ridiculous. Who do you think I got to do Aunt Irene's operation?
Will Nora reveal her second identity as Dr. Athena, and how will Angela react if she finds out? Can Nora prove her skills in the operating room, or is Angela right about the impossible odds? To find out, download the Pocket FM app now. Link in the description. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more gripping stories.